Hello everyone, Soul Invictus here. Today I have got quite a gem for you guys. I am facing against Cali, a great player that I play against a lot. The guy kicks my ass quite often. We went for an interesting matchup today. I picked Egypt, which is not a faction I play often with, but I came up with this new build and I absolutely wanted to try it. Our opponent, Cali, opted for Galatia. So an interesting matchup. We've got quite a strong barbarian faction. I wouldn't go as far as saying a powerhouse faction. It can be countered because it relies heavily on Galatian legionnaires. It does have very interesting tools like mercenary Syrian archers, more than decent cavalry under the form of those Cappadocian cav, as well as the noble horse. Very good mid-tier sword spears. Apologize, the Galatians. So strong faction all around. Of course, they have the MLG Levy Freeman, but I don't think we actually see any on the build of Kali. Opted for more Galatian swords, as well as Galatian legionnaires. For our Egypt build, it is going to be, let me put that in regular speed. It is going to be a Javelin heavy build. So we do have biting force with them. Our killing power for melee is going to be 2 Galatian, a Royal Guard at each flank. These guys will be supported by Egyptian infantry as well as citizen cav, so it's quite important to have that support with the Galatian Royal Guard, considering we rely on them heavily, so we want to be able to blunt charge with the citizen cavalry or soak the charge with the Egyptian infantry. It's going to give us a lot of maneuverability with the Royal Guard. After that, we're going to get Levy Torero Spears. There's going to be, I think, two of them. Yeah, two of them. One each flank. So that's going to be mainly a counter to the skirmishing cav of our opponent, as well as Carrion Axemen, 3 of them, and 1 Torero Spear to guard our Ptolemaic cavalry. As you can see, these guys will be facing backward. Reason being is that if those Jav cav get near, well, I've got some protection. And obviously that Ptolemaic, however you pronounce that, cavalry is a very expensive unit and you want to protect it. So it's, and we got a fear unit there, Sabek Cultists, as well as Rhodian Slingers. There's going to be Numidian Spears acting as a meat shield. So these guys got fast advance, so it can be interesting for them as a meat shield to get that extra speed to take the engagement once you want. So the fight has begun as far as the skirmishing phase is concerned. My Tarentine getting absolutely shredded. Although they did get 20 kill, our Toreros got 6 kill. And this other Toreros 6 kill as well. Yeah, that's correct. So obviously this build I think is going to be much stronger. But if used wisely, this Egyptian build is actually very, very strong. So we do get a lot of damage with the Carrion Axemen, as well as our Torero Spear on enemy infantry. Here I decided to taunt my opponent out of the forest by sending my my elite cavalry up front. It's going to be a mistake. He's going to get an arrow volley on them. So yeah, that's it. And the Sabek Cultist late game can be useful for breaking down the morale of units, especially when you're facing a barbarian faction which does not have discipline. So if the general dies, these guys are going to be quite useful. As you see, Torero's being an absolute nuisance to his cavalry, which he's going to need at some point to catch to my Rhodian Slingers. The more healthy cavalry he has, the better it is for them, because these guys can be extremely deadly if used properly. A slight volley into my general's face. Not general, sorry, but my elite cav face. So the cool thing with Egypt is that you can opt for a cheap general, which is going to be the Carrion Axemen. But what this means is that they're extremely susceptible. So whenever you decide to do that with Egypt, you're obviously going to want to sandwich that unit in between 2 strong units, which is what I did, under the form of that shock cavalry and the Torero Spear. With this slow push from the Galatia in the forest, obviously our plan is going to be to lure them out of that forest at all costs, because otherwise it's going to render our slingers completely useless. So Rhodian Slingers will not be deadly on their first volley, but as soon as they start focusing on one unit, they can be quite a pain in the ass, really. Egyptian infantry getting 8 kill from javelin there. Absolutely fantastic. These guys are a 200 denarii unit, so whatever kill you get with them, really, it's good. These guys are there to die. Do you think they're aware of it? Well, this guy sure seemed ready. Yeah, that's right. This guy was ready. We'll fast forward it a little. So we'll see a push towards the left by Galatia. Kali, the player we're facing, is good at maneuvering. He's the type of guy that's going to seize the advantage as far as placement is concerned and then capitalize on it. So when you play against him, you want to make sure that you don't let him shoot for one of your flank too hard. And you can't let him overload one of your flank, otherwise it's going to be a GG for you. As soon as they get in range, we're going to pop fast rapid fire to get maximum damage. It's going to force him to pull back his archers and will then start focusing on other units. As you can see, this Rhodian Slinger is already getting a lot of kills on the Galatian swords due to their low armor. We'll see a steady push by Galatia. Good move. Jab into the Slingers. 3 kill. Fantastic job. Pressure by the cavalry. This is where our Jav unit are going to be useful. And as you can see, Carrion and Levitueros focusing on the Galatian sword is going to be very bad for this unit. They're going to start dropping like fly. Already 20 men left, and we're looking down to 30 men left at the end of this volley. Whenever a unit is going to turn their back with the Rhodian Slinger, you want to try to get your shot in, which is exactly what we're going to do to that Galatian sword, and you will see it dropping pretty freaking fast. So it's important to seize the momentum, get your opponent to pull back through your maneuvers with your core army. As soon as you see a back or a flank, you're going to focus with the Rhodian Slingers. This is absolutely crucial with that build. Otherwise, you won't get your kill fast with the Rhodian Slingers, which is terrible. They'll end up having a lot of ammunition late game and get picked off by cavalry. This Galatian unit getting absolutely shredded. Galatian Legionnaires being focused on by a Rhodian Slinger. And as you can see, it is starting to take some damage. So whenever Kali pushes, we're going to want to pull back. So the middle is extremely weak, but all those Jav is going to be quite a deterrent to enemy cavalry. You don't want to lose a Cappadocian unit to Carian Axemen fires, because Carian Axemen are so cheap. I believe they're 400 denarii or so. As per his cavalry is above 800. Sip of coffee, sorry. Homemade McDonald's coffee can beat that, gentlemen. It's cheaper, it's better. That's just a win. And once again, whenever a unit presents its back, bam, you're gonna make them pay dearly. We're gonna start focus firing whenever we see a flank on too expensive unit. At this point, the meat shield has been damaged, which is the main goal in early stage of a battle against barbarian like that. Weaken their meat shield, therefore that means your own meat shield gonna stand a better chance. And if you start damaging those expensive units, well, after that your mid-tier / elite unit are gonna have a better time against them. The only strong melee we have is this Galatian Royal Guard, which already took some damage from the the skirmishing force of Galatia. So definitely a very good move by him. We're exposing the flanks of our mercenary Rhodian Slingers. We're going to want to fix that ASAP. Our opponent is keeping his Syrian Archers for late game, which is not a bad move. I don't think he wants to engage the Slingers with them just yet. Once again, look at the work the Carrions are getting done. We will sacrifice our meat shield unit using fast advance. That's going to mean that we'll reach there much faster than a regular unit would have. That's going to catch our dear friend Kali off guard. Going to pin down his elite units, allow us to get some Jav in there, and that's going to slow down his push, which is exactly what we need. If his push is being slowed down, then we can use our Rhodian Slingers. By the way, I got a co-cast coming up either today or tomorrow with a legend of the community. So it's going to be super interesting. It's going to be my Christmas gift to you guys. a prominent caster, somebody we all enjoy watching replays of. Sacrifice the cavalry, send in the Carian axemen once they're out of ammo is the right thing to do. So they're going to be blunting two Galatian sword, which would have absolutely wrecked the Carian axemen if it wasn't from that sacrifice on their behalf. So kind of a bitter victory. Lose your cavalry, but at least clean up the enemy meat shield with your very cheap unit. So definitely a win. We'll see a push here, and that's what I was talking about earlier. So obviously this looks like a juicy target to the Cappadocian Cav. But then you got the Numidian collapsing, as well as Axemen throwing in their Javelin. So it's a battle of deterrence with that Egyptian build. You want to make sure the enemy understand that if he gets too close to you, he's going to get jabbed to death and slinged to death, as a matter of fact. And we see that happening all over the place. This Galatian Legionnaire is not in a good spot. Galatian Royal Guard being focused on by the Syrian archers. This Royal Guard is going to be rendered useless thanks to that. Very good move by Kali. Here we'll see a game-changing move as well. So the middle is opening up for our cavalry. The enemy only has two cav units in the middle ready to support. So what we'll do, we'll shoot with our citizen cav, lure out the noble horse archer, and that's kind of a bittersweet victory what we'll see happening there. So as you can see, these archers are running death on my elite unit, so it's very important for me to make them stop firing or kill them, best case scenario, but in that case it's going to be about making them stop firing. So as we lure the general unit out with our citizen cav, we're going to shoot in the gap for Ptolemaic cavalry right into those mercenary Syrian archers. So that's going to be a sacrifice of this heavy shock unit. Although we'll get some precious kill, they're going to drop slowly but surely. At least the shots are not being popped in. Our citizen cav is going to rush for cover there to be used late game. All of his units that punch through the line are getting fired at big time. So as you see, this build had a big gap in the middle. That was our killing zone. And as you can see, this is exactly what happened. Whatever unit ventured too deep in our line got absolutely picked apart by Carian Axemen, Leviatureros, as well as Slingers. Look at how fast this unit is dropping. It's being sandwiched between Galatian Royal, Missile Fires, and Sobek Cultists, which have scare ability. These guys are off the battlefield, down to the very last man. On this side, where our Galatian Royal Guard got fired at by the archers, they're not faring so well. Our Ptolemaic cavalry did a good job there, slowing down the archers for a very good amount of time. So the trade was not cost effective because we lose 1,300 denarii unit to kill very little archers. But the archers did not get their crucial shots in against our Royal Galatian. So I call that a victory. Not necessarily as far as cost effectiveness is concerned, but on tactical purpose, definitely a victory. We'll do a little switcheroo. This fight was not going well for our Galatian Royal Guard. Pull them out of there, cover the retreat with the LT Galatian Royal Guard. And yeah, a switcheroo that was much needed in this battle. We'll see a collapse by the cavalry of Galatia. And so we've got very heavy armor on the Noble Horse as well as the Cappadocian, and our units that are left have not that much armor. So any charge by these guys is going to be very deadly. Although we're going to rely heavily on our missile superiority to damage these units. As you can see, the general got in there. We're now focus fire with our slingers on it, as well as chase down with Numidian spears. So this unit is going to drop very fast. We can see the infantry of Egypt starting to lose morale and dropping. The forest helped us in this battle. Enemy general dropping. 27 units left in that unit. So as you can see, they were full on health, got into an engagement, but then the armor penetration of the Rhodian Slinger is very deadly from what I know. And as well as the spear support wrecked these guys. We'll put constant pressure with our citizen cavalry onto the Syrian archers, which are gathering some kills, mind you. Cappadocian charging in. It's too little, too late. This unit's gonna get slaughtered. And it's frightened by enemy units, so you're gonna see the moral dropping very fast as well as the unit dropping really fast. Slingers are doing a fantastic job against its cavalry. We're running out of ammo, so we'll send in the Rhodian slingers. As you can see, the melee stats on these guys, so we've got 24 weapon damage, 15 melee attack. Syrian archers, approximately the same thing. So it's going to be a pretty even fight if we connect. They're out of ammunition. As you see, this Galatian sword routed due to the sheer power of the Galatian Royal Guard, as well as the fear effect of the Sabek. Cavalry are connecting, but they're absolutely damaged at this point. So that was a good battle. Our cavalry got caught there by the noble horse. We've got our Rhodian slingers chasing away those Syrian archers, which are much needed at this point to fire at our Galatian Royal Guard. This was a relatively close battle. But I say we won with confidence, really. Super happy to see this Egyptian build work. I will try it again against other faction. Kali was on a bad beat on that battle, I think. I was able to seize the, as we were discussing, I was able to seize the momentum, and that's something normally Kali is very, very, very good at, seizing the momentum in a battle, and if you give him that, then you're gonna have a tough time. So by momentum, I mean initial shots with your missile unit, a good flow for skirmishing cavalry, meaning that he gets his shot in and then pull back rather than getting in with his skirmisher, then being fired at and then pull back. He was not able to achieve that in that battle, and that's exactly what we were discussing about. So yeah, definitely got lucky there as far as seizing the momentum is concerned. I think what gave us the edge is all those Tureros as well as Carrion Axemen, which meant that every time a skirmishing cav got involved, they paid dearly. So that made it that he had to use them a bit more defensively. As you've seen, they've waited on this side of the battle for a fair amount of time, which means that I had no pressure and I did not have to waste my micromanagement resource protecting the back of my unit. I could just completely focus on my slingers to get their crucial shots in to those expensive Galatian units. And as you can see, look at the Rhodian slingers. 148, 117, 206. So these guys were at 134 when they got into melee with the Syrian archers, which did not do such a bad job, actually. One of them getting shredded. 103 kill is good, 75 is good. For the rest of his units, we're going to see the Cappadocian, one of them doing fantastic, the other one paying dearly for its boldness, being focused on by the Rhodian slingers as well as our Jav units. Noble Horse, decent amount of kill, but once again, those Rhodian made them pay dearly for their boldness. The Galatian Legionnaires, one of them doing fantastic, the other one getting shredded. Those Galatian Spear doing fantastic, although I would assume a lot of those kills ended up being against Egyptian infantry, which are there to die, and did get a fair amount of kill, considering how cheap they are. They probably got some kill as well against, I would assume, my Tureros. Levy Tureros or Nubian Spearmans. Also, one thing to note about those Levy Tureros is that they got the square formation, a very good unit, cheap, get a lot of killing potential with their jabs. Galatian sword being shredded by our slingers. As you can see, countered one of my Galatian Royal very well. That was with the aid of his archers and also his Galatian Legionnaire. One of my Galatian Royal not being countered and roaming freely and get a bunch of kill. I like to think the Sabek Cultist gave me an edge in that battle as far as carrying enemy units is concerned. My cavalry serving their purpose, not getting a lot of kill, but they were able to pressure his Syrian archers, which allowed me to get more kill out of my Galatian Royal Guard instead of getting them shot to death. Tarentum Cav doing a fantastic job. Not a lot of kill, but we were able to shield against the mercenary or skirmishers. And interesting, as you can see, Kali went for the horse skirmisher against Egypt. and not the Galatian raiders. So the reason he did that, I would assume, is to be able to spend a bit more money on expensive cavalry, which is good versus Egypt, considering cavalry of Egypt is really shitty. And so he probably thought, look, going Galatian raiders is a waste of funds. Let's just go for horse skirmisher. They're gonna serve their purpose. I think a good plan overall. Not a lot of kill on our Carians and Levitureros, but a lot of these kills were with Javs. So now a fantastic job. I really like this Egypt build. I will try it some more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. It was a bit less cinematic than usual. But yeah, the strategy of that build was the main focus of my video. So guys, take care. Thank you for listening. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And Sol Invictus signing off. Bye-bye.